You've been there. A meeting, a group chat, a family table, and someone crosses the line. A sarcastic jab, a mocking laugh, a public dismissal meant to shrink you. For a split second, your body wants to react, to fire back, defend, explain, prove your worth. But this is the moment that separates the common from the disciplined. The average person chases revenge. The Stoic master seizes control. When disrespect appears, it isn't an insult, it's an exam. The universe is asking one question: can you command yourself when the crowd pulls you toward chaos? Every sneer, every interruption, every attempt to humiliate you is fuel, a chance to train the muscle of composure. The weak feed on reaction. The wise feed on restraint. The moment someone disrespects you, your first battle isn't with them, it's with your own impulses. Your ego screams, show them who you are. But Stoicism cuts deeper. Your power begins where your reactivity ends. You win not by striking back, but by mastering the inner storm before it masters you. Every time you remain calm under attack, you train the mind to obey discipline, not emotion. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, you have power over your mind, not outside events. That's not poetry, it's a command. If you lose your temper, you lose your authority. If you control your state, you own the room. True dominance is silent, still, deliberate. When someone tries to pull you into chaos, understand they're already beneath you. You don't need to prove superiority, you show it through your composure. Calmness is not weakness, it's power. Refined and restrained, disrespect isn't always personal. Most of the time, it's a strategy, a small, cowardly attempt to elevate oneself by pulling others down. Weak people crave power, but fear earning it. So they provoke, they test your emotional stability, hoping you'll explode and expose your insecurity. That's why Stoics saw insults as mirrors. They reveal more about the speaker than the target. When someone mocks you, they're confessing something. I need to feel above you because I can't rise by my own merit. Once you understand that, the sting fades. You stop reacting and start observing. You realize that their disrespect is an opportunity to show the difference between noise and strength. Don't try to fix their behavior. Use it to sharpen your self-control. Let their words hit you like arrows against armor. Sound, but no penetration. The more calmly you handle it, the louder your dignity becomes. You gain respect the moment you stop asking for it. Respect isn't granted by others, it's reflected from within. People treat you according to the standard you broadcast. If you tolerate ridicule, you silently permit it. If you carry yourself with unshakable calm, others sense a boundary they dare not cross. The Stoics called this authority of the soul, the quiet power of someone who knows who they are. You don't beg for validation, you embody it. When you walk into a room, your posture, your eyes, your tone, they all tell the world how to treat you. Every move should say, I'm grounded. I'm not here to please you, I'm here to respect myself. That's the core of Stoic respect. You teach people how to treat you by how you treat yourself. Stand tall, speak little, move with purpose. Inner authority speaks in silence, and it's louder than words. People don't respect talk, they respect consistency. Every motion you make is a message. The way you shake hands, the way you sit, the way you hold your gaze, it all communicates what you believe about yourself. When you stand up to greet someone, you're not just being polite, you're declaring self-respect. When you maintain steady eye contact, you tell the world, I'm here, fully present, unafraid. Stoics understood this long before psychology proved it. Body follows mind, but mind also follows body. Discipline in posture creates discipline in thought. Never slouch in spirit or in stance. Never let your energy say I'm small. Confidence isn't arrogance, it's stillness under pressure. You don't need to dominate others to be powerful. Just refuse to shrink. Every calm gesture, every controlled breath becomes a reminder that your respect is self-generated, not socially approved. Presence is your armor. When someone interrupts you or tries to talk over you, don't rush to outshout them. Don't let emotion hijack your voice. Simply pause and look. A calm, steady gaze cuts deeper than 1,000 words. It unsettles the disrespectful because it exposes their lack of control. You don't need to lecture them. You just need to be still longer than their noise lasts. The Stoics knew silence could be a weapon, not for harm, but for dominance of the moment. That look says, you haven't shaken me. It commands reflection without aggression. In psychology, this is called non-verbal assertion, power without conflict. Most people fill silence with insecurity. You, on the other hand, use it as discipline. You choose when to speak. You decide what matters. When the world tests your composure, your silence becomes a mirror showing who's truly in control. The louder someone tries to provoke you, the more desperate they are for control. They want to drag you into their chaos, because once you react, they win. Stoicism teaches that argument is rarely about truth. It's about dominance. So, stop wrestling in the mud with those who thrive in it. Your silence, your calm, your refusal to engage, that's the strike they never see coming. Let them talk. Let them mock. Let them burn their energy, proving nothing. Meanwhile, you stay centered, breathing slowly, letting their noise fade into insignificance. When you finally speak, speak slowly, deliberately, with precision. Choose words that weigh something. People will listen not because you force them to, but because your restraint has made every word sacred. You don't need to shout for attention. In a world addicted to noise, composure becomes the rarest form of strength. When someone tries to humiliate you, they expect a reaction: anger, shame, or retreat. That's their fuel, so deny it. Instead, flip the energy. Smile faintly. Ask them to repeat what they just said, calmly. With genuine curiosity, this single move reverses the psychological flow. What was once mockery now becomes awkward exposure. They're forced to relive their own disrespect, and it loses its sting. The Stoics would call this turning insult into exercise, using the attack to strengthen your inner stillness. Remember, the goal isn't to win the moment, but to own your mind in the moment. By refusing to be emotionally hijacked, you show an unbreakable self-command that silences arrogance. Every joke aimed at you becomes a chance to demonstrate mastery. You turn humiliation into demonstration, proof that no external force can touch your core. Most people are slaves to their emotions. They get provoked and instantly surrender their peace. Stoicism flips the script. The less you react, the more power you gain, and when insulted, your silence isn't weakness, it's strategy. You're showing the world that your mood isn't at the mercy of someone else's behavior. In that pause, you reclaim full control. The other person becomes transparent, desperate, fragile. Exposed, they reveal their need for validation, while you reveal your mastery of restraint. Seneca wrote, "The greatest revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." That's your commandment here. Don't mirror disrespect. Rise above it. When you stay calm while others expect rage, you demonstrate mental supremacy. Every second of non-reaction is a declaration. I rule myself. That's the kind of discipline that earns real, lasting respect. The kind that can't be faked. There's a subtle power in refusing to play someone else's emotional game. When a person throws bait, a mocking comment, a passive insult, a public jab, don't take it. Instead, shift the focus completely. Respond with something unrelated, calm, and deliberate. By the way, have you read the latest report? Or speaking of that, what's your take on? You've just performed a psychological reset. The tension dissolves because you've stolen the oxygen from their provocation. Stoicism calls this mastering perception, choosing how you frame an event rather than being trapped by it. You control the lens, so you control the reality. What they intended as chaos becomes your classroom for composure. This isn't avoidance, it's redirection, a surgical maneuver of the mind. Every time you steer a situation back to calm, you reinforce your own authority. You prove that nothing external can command your state. Power isn't measured by how loudly you speak, but by how little external noise can move you. When you master your emotions, you master the situation. A Stoic doesn't fight fire with fire. He lets the other burn himself out. Every insult, every provocation is a small test, a moment to decide who owns your mind. Remember, anger is a leash. The moment you react, you hand someone the rope. True strength is the ability to stay unbothered when others try to shake your peace. When you're calm under pressure, people notice and they respect it, even if they don't admit it. Emotional control is rare. It's magnetic. It's the quiet confidence that commands a room without a word. So, when the next storm rises, stand still inside it. You are not the wind. You are the mountain that watches it pass. You can't demand respect. You embody it. You don't chase validation, you project value. The Stoics believe that how you live, move, and speak tells the world what to think of you. If your words are calm, but your posture is weak, people will sense hesitation. If your actions are grounded, they'll instinctively treat you with regard. Respect begins long before you speak, in how you breathe, how you carry stillness, how you handle pressure. Every gesture should whisper, "I am self-disciplined." The world mirrors what you broadcast. If you treat yourself as worthy, others will too. But if you allow small disrespect to slide repeatedly, you're silently training people to undervalue you. So, raise your internal standard. Every act of composure, every quiet refusal to be rattled, becomes a signal, a declaration that you will not bow to chaos, nor tolerate disrespect. Boundaries are not walls. They are declarations of self-respect. Weak people avoid confrontation because they fear disapproval. Strong minds understand that silence without structure invites disrespect. A Stoic boundary isn't loud, it's consistent. It's the calm, no, that doesn't need to explain itself. When someone crosses your line, interrupts, mocks, or tests your patience, you don't argue. You correct with presence. A measured pause, a firm tone, a clear look, these say more than defensiveness ever could. You are not asking for decency. You are enforcing it. Remember, people test limits not out of malice, but curiosity. They want to see if you mean what you say. So prove it through consistency. Never reward bad behavior with your attention. Never justify your worth. A boundary is energy. It tells the world, my peace is protected territory. Cross it, and the conversation ends. You cannot control how others act, but you can fully control how long you allow their energy in your space. Detachment doesn't mean apathy. It means discipline. It's the refusal to let someone else's chaos stain your mind. When you detach, you aren't running away. You're rising above. You're choosing clarity over conflict. The Stoics understood that emotional distance is power. It grants you the ability to think clearly, while others drown in reaction. When someone tries to provoke you, visualize their words as smoke, rising, fading, gone. No need to grab it. No need to explain. The more detached you become, the more magnetic your energy grows. People start realizing they can't manipulate what they can't control. Your indifference becomes your armor. The less you chase their approval, the more respect you command. Master detachment, and you master yourself. You teach people how to treat you by the energy you tolerate. If you stay silent when disrespected, hoping they'll change, you've already set your price, and it's low. The Stoic doesn't beg to be valued. He sets the tone by how he values himself. Every time you allow someone to mock, interrupt, or diminish you without consequence, you reinforce their belief that you can be disrespected. But when you calmly hold your ground, even once, you shift the entire dynamic. Self-worth is psychological gravity. People either orbit it or get repelled by it. You don't earn it through compliments or validation. You build it through quiet standards. It's not about arrogance. It's about alignment. The person who knows their value doesn't need to explain it. They simply live it, consistently, unapologetically, and without compromise. Your respect for yourself sets the rule for every room you enter. Confrontation isn't about raising your voice. It's about raising your standard. The Stoic way is firm, but composed. When someone crosses the line, don't explode. Expose. Look them in the eye and say clearly, "Don't speak to me like that." Then stop. Let silence do the rest. Most people expect emotion. They don't know how to handle calm authority. Your stillness unsettles them more than anger ever could. In that moment, you've shifted control from reaction to leadership. You've shown that your respect isn't negotiable. The Stoics practice this exact discipline. Respond with clarity, never hostility, because clarity is power. You can't demand peace while feeding chaos. So, next time you're disrespected, don't avoid the moment, own it. Correct it without apology, without drama. The world bends to those who enforce their values without flinching. Calm confrontation is how the disciplined defend their dignity. When you stay calm in the face of disrespect, you're not just controlling yourself, you're revealing others. Your composure acts like a mirror, showing them their own instability. They expect you to fight back, to get emotional, to descend to their level. But when you remain still, you force them to face the absurdity of their behavior. Most people crumble under that reflection. This is why Stoics valued calmness more than cleverness. It dismantles arrogance without a single word. The person who keeps their peace commands the entire room, because everyone feels the gravity of that restraint. Composure is contagious. It shifts the atmosphere. When others see you unshaken by mockery, they subconsciously align with your tone. Your silence becomes law. Never forget this. The one who controls the temperature of the moment controls the power in it. That's not submission, that's strategic mastery. Silence isn't retreat, it's precision. The world mistakes it for weakness because it fears stillness. But the Stoic knows silence is a weapon sharpened by discipline. When someone disrespects you, your silence forces them into discomfort. They start to fill the void with their own insecurity, their own guilt. You don't need to lecture them. They will expose themselves, trying to justify their behavior. This is psychological warfare without cruelty. The key is to stay composed, not cold. You're not punishing. You're commanding the tempo of the interaction. Every second you remain quiet becomes a statement. I decide when and if this deserves a response. The more you master this, the more control you gain in every encounter. In time, people learn that you cannot be provoked, baited, or emotionally steered. Silence makes manipulators lose their balance and reveals who's truly in command. When someone tries to corner you with mockery or criticism, remember, their goal is to dictate your focus. They want your attention, your energy, your emotional reaction. Don't give it to them. Instead, redirect it, change the topic. Ask a question that shifts the dynamic completely. Interesting. Anyway, have you finished that project? Or that reminds me, what's your opinion on? Instantly, the energy flips. You've moved from defensive to directive. The Stoics practice this constantly, controlling the frame of every moment. Epictetus said, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." You're not avoiding confrontation, you're reframing it. When you refuse to fight on their emotional battlefield, you make their tactics useless. You drain their power by redirecting your focus toward what you control: your mind, your words, your direction. There's a part of you that no insult can touch, no mockery can shake, no disrespect can reach. That's your inner fortress, your Stoic core. The stronger you build it, the less you'll need to defend yourself. When the world tries to provoke you, don't reinforce their chaos by reacting. Retreat inward, breathe, and remember, they can only touch what you expose. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the mind becomes invincible when it draws no conclusions from insult, meaning disrespect only hurts when you agree with it. So stop agreeing. Let their words die where they're spoken. Stay rooted in your purpose, unmoved by opinions. The Stoic doesn't chase reputation, he embodies integrity. Your goal is not to win arguments, it's to preserve your peace. Because from peace comes power, from self-command comes respect. Hold your center, and the world will learn to orbit around it. Every act of disrespect tempts your ego to step forward. It whispers, "Don't let them talk to you like that." But ego wants reaction. Dignity wants mastery. The Stoic always chooses the latter. You don't need to prove your strength. You just need to keep it. When you respond out of pride, you step onto their level. When you respond out of clarity, you elevate the entire interaction. Dignity is calm fire. It burns steady. Never wild. The more you train your ego to obey reason, the freer you become. Let others play petty games. You stay focused on your standard. When someone insults you, remind yourself, this is my training ground. Use it. Every jab, every slight, every interruption becomes a repetition in the gym of self-control. You either rise with dignity or you fall to ego. One leads to power, the other to noise. Choose wisely. A Stoic doesn't hide emotion, he harnesses it. Calmness isn't numbness, it's discipline under fire. The modern world praises loud confidence, but the true warrior's strength is silent composure. You can always tell who's trained and who's fragile by how they respond when challenged. The untrained explode, the disciplined breathe. When you stay calm under insult, you're sending a message louder than any comeback could. I'm untouchable because I own myself. This calm isn't born from apathy. It's forged from practice, reflection, and restraint. Think of it as a mental shield, a posture of command. Every breath you take before reacting builds armor. Every second of silence turns chaos into control. When others lose their temper, they lose the battle. When you keep your stillness, you win without fighting. Calm isn't passive. It's the mark of someone who's already conquered themselves. Every time you let anger take control, you trade your power for a moment of relief. You might win the argument, but you lose your authority. The Stoics call this temporary madness, when emotion overrides reason and dignity collapses. Ask yourself, is this reaction worth your peace? Because once you lose your calm, they own the moment. They've pulled you out of alignment with yourself. That's the real defeat. not their words, but your surrender to them. Seneca warned that anger always punishes the one who feels it first. So when your pulse rises, see it for what it is, a signal, not a command. Breathe, delay, and choose clarity over chaos. Mastering your reaction is not about suppression, it's about sovereignty. Each time you stay centered, you strengthen the wall around your mind. Lose it once. You stumble, lose it often. You decay. Control is protection. Your emotions are currency. Spend them wisely. Every time you react to nonsense, you pay with focus, energy, and peace. The Stoic spends emotions only where they yield growth, never where they drain strength. Ask yourself before you respond, does this serve my purpose or my ego? If it's ego, stay silent. If it's purpose, act with precision. People who provoke you are like thieves. They want to rob your composure. Don't open the vault. The less reactive you are, the richer you become in inner power. That's why Marcus Aurelius trained his mind daily to remain calm under insult. He refused to go broke buying into other people's chaos. Emotional economy means keeping your energy for what builds you. Discipline, focus, mastery. Let others spend theirs on drama. You invest yours in becoming unshakable. Control your emotions, and you'll never live in emotional debt again. Sometimes the strongest move isn't to argue, explain, or defend, it's to walk away. Withdrawal is not weakness, it's a declaration. My energy is not for sale here. Stoic wisdom teaches that disengagement is an act of mastery, not surrender. When a conversation turns toxic, when someone mocks or belittles you, remember, your silence is a verdict. You are saying, this no longer deserves my attention. Walking away doesn't mean you lost. It means you've risen above the level where disrespect lives. Marcus Aurelius warned against wrestling with pigs. You both get dirty. But the pig enjoys it, so leave the mud. When you exit with calmness, people feel it. It's quiet power. You've chosen self-respect over approval. Peace over reaction. You've proven that your worth isn't negotiable. Sometimes the best way to win the war of respect is to stop showing up for battles beneath you. Absence has power. When your presence is no longer easily available, people start to feel the weight of your value. Stoicism teaches that stepping away from chaos isn't escape, it's elevation. Your silence after being disrespected is a lesson louder than any argument. It tells the world, you cannot mistreat what you can no longer reach. Think of Sarah, the Stoic archetype, undervalued, mocked, dismissed in rooms that didn't deserve her energy. The day she walked out calmly, everything shifted. Her absence echoed louder than her presence ever did. That's the paradox of respect. It grows stronger in your absence when you've carried yourself with quiet integrity. So never fear leaving environments that belittle your worth. Your exit is not a retreat, it's a message. The Stoic knows, to be missed, you must first have the strength to walk away. There comes a point when explanation becomes unnecessary. The Stoic doesn't argue to be understood. He acts to be remembered. Detachment means you no longer need closure, validation, or recognition from those who undervalue you. You simply step back and let results speak. The modern mind craves approval. The disciplined mind craves peace. When you detach, you're no longer fueled by their reaction, but by your own alignment. You no longer play emotional ping pong with people who feed on conflict. You walk away, not because you're weak, but because your time has become sacred. Detachment is the highest form of self-respect. The moment you stop needing to be seen to know your worth. So if someone disrespects you again, don't waste your breath convincing them of your value. Let them feel the cold distance of your indifference. That silence will teach them everything words never could. Every insult, every act of disrespect, every betrayal. They're all raw material for strength. The Stoic doesn't waste pain, he forges it. What others use to humiliate you becomes fuel for your evolution. You learn not to shrink from discomfort, but to refine it into clarity. When someone tries to demean you, they unknowingly give you a gift, the opportunity to practice mastery. You turn hurt into heat and heat into focus. That's the Stoic alchemy, transforming emotional pain into self-discipline. You stop asking, why did they treat me that way? And start asking, what can I build from this? Every humiliation is a lesson in endurance. Every insult, a test of composure. And every time you remain unshaken, you add another layer to your armor. Life stops defeating you the moment you realize you are not the wound. You are the weapon being sharpened by it. After every moment of disrespect, rebuild, not to prove them wrong, but to remind yourself who you are. The Stoic doesn't collapse under criticism. He constructs himself from it. You rebuild in silence. In early mornings, in disciplined habits, you let your consistency do the speaking. People who once mocked you will watch in confusion as you rise, not through revenge, but through refinement. That's the beauty of the Stoic path. You don't need to announce your comeback. You become it. Your focus, your patience, your endurance, these are the pillars that rebuild your confidence brick by brick. Let the world talk. Let them laugh while they waste energy on noise. You're building something unshakable, character. And when they see your composure solidify into success, they'll realize the person they tried to break only learned how to rebuild better, stronger, and quieter. In the end, respect isn't earned through dominance, argument, or fear. It's earned through unwavering alignment with your principles. The Stoic doesn't chase approval because he already walks with inner authority. You don't demand to be valued. You live in a way that makes disrespect impossible to sustain. Every moment of restraint, every quiet walk away, every disciplined reaction has been forging you into something rare, someone untouchable by chaos. Remember this final truth. The one who masters himself cannot be humiliated. When you choose calm over anger, silence over noise, and dignity over ego, you elevate yourself beyond the reach of petty minds. From now on, let your actions speak the language of self-respect. Let your composure command the respect your words never need to request. You are no longer reacting to the world. You are defining it through your discipline. Remember this, every time you choose calm over chaos, discipline over impulse, and silence over reaction, you are rewriting who you are. You're not just controlling your emotions, you're rebuilding your entire character. The goal isn't to impress others. It's to become someone you yourself can deeply respect. If this message spoke to you, take a moment to reflect. Where in your life do you still let disrespect or emotion rule your mind? Start changing that today. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Share your reflections or your own Stoic experiences in the comments below. I read every one of them, and your insights might help someone else on their journey towards strength and peace. If this video gave you clarity, leave a like to support the message. Subscribe to Stoic Power Lab and gently share it with someone who needs to hear it today. Thank you for listening, and remember, power is not in how loudly you respond, but in how silently you remain unshaken.